Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Phoenix Wright, Justice for All. In the last episode, we had completed the investigation phase of Turnabout Big Top. And now we are here starting off the next part, which is the first day of trial, where I believe Benjamin Woodman and Mo Klutz, I can't remember his last name, the clown, is going to be testifying against Maximillion Galactica, which makes sense because from what we've investigated, Maximillion has a little bit of a temper, but Maximillion also comes from the outside world, and to shed some light, Maximillion likes Regina. Benjamin likes Regina, but Benjamin can't talk properly because he's a very introverted man. So he utilizes his ventriloquist dummy, Trilo to talk for him. And Regina likes Trilo, thinking that he's a real man. And Maximillion went to Regina's father, Russell Berry, the victim, to create the proposition of, I want to marry your daughter. Then Trilo wants to go directly to Regina in regards to her love. So based on what I know, I think Benjamin killed Russell so that he could go for Regina. Am I crazy? I haven't been wrong yet. So let's see what's going to happen next. As I look around for my headset, but we haven't cut yet. Okay, here we are back at the Turnabout Big Top. I realize I don't have my emergency in case I struggle. Okay, sorry about that little pause. I had to make sure that in case I get to a point where I've run out of ideas of what to do, because that has happened, especially last episode where I completely forgot about profiles and presenting profiles. I need to be able to just quickly cut out my investigation period to figure out what I'm supposed to do next and create this seamless thing. So I set that up. Now we're ready to go. And no, I am still following this as I would. December 29th. Good morning, Max. Max? Milk? What? If I don't have a glass of milk before I go on stage, I just can't function, sweetie. Stage? Don't worry. There won't be a stage. All you have to do is sit down. I guess. Nick. Max is really nervous. That's understandable. Hey, my sweeties. What? You don't think I should fly, do you? Huh? You know, you've got to make a good first impression. When I enter the room, maybe I should fly in and warm up the crowd a little. No. We can't be having you flying around the courtroom. It just wouldn't be right. Imagine if you hit someone. Don't worry, Max. Just do what Nick says and everything will be okay. Oh, sweetie. What is it this time, Max? Why don't you try flying into the courtroom? I can see it now, the dashing young lawyer flying fabulously in from above. One glimpse of that, and everyone in the room will be on your side. Max, really, no one needs to fly in today. Nick? What's with that look in your eyes? I like the sound of that. Dashing young lawyer flying fabulously. That would be pretty entertaining. 10 a.m. District Court number 2. And now the case of one. What? Your Honor, get on with it. Oh, sorry. I just realized that the defendant's name is Billy Bob Johns. So? Well, isn't the defendant also known as Maximillion Galactica? Yes, Your Honor, he does often go by that name. You know, my grandchild is a huge fan of his. I think everyone here wouldn't mind if we call the defendant Maximillion Galactica. It sounds more friendly. I wonder if it's to our advantage. Ms. Von Karma, your opening statement, if you please. I hope you didn't bother thinking you'd win this one, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Eh? The spirit channeling trial was a sham. I refuse to acknowledge its legitimacy. I bet she becomes one of Phoenix's best friends, just like Edgeworth. It did not count, do you hear me? She must still be upset about what happened last time. You have no chance. Zero. Zilch. Nada. I'm not losing this case. Why, you ask? Because it is not in the nature of a Von Karma to lose at anything. I guess being born with the name Von Karma is a free pass to be arrogant and annoying. Watch and learn, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'll show you the textbook procedure for proving how absolutely guilty you are. Me? Guilty? What are you talking about? It will be my ultimate revenge. But it's not like it'll bring her dad back. There, opening statement complete. Now let's hurry and wrap up this waste of a time. Very well. You may call your first witness, Miss Von Karma. Detective Dick Gumshoe. Get up there. Now. Poor detective. Sorry to keep you from your work, as I'm sure you need every penny you can earn, detective. Don't mention it. It's no trouble at all. I've been looking forward to this. Very well. I would like you to begin by shedding light on the events in question. At your service, sir. See, she's so much nicer than what Manfred was. This is why I don't believe that she's a bad character. She has way more personality. Nice personality. She is still a little bit rough on the edges, though. But that is okay. Some people can be rough around the edges. All right, detective. You may proceed with your testimony. Details of the events. The night of the crime. Snow was falling until 9:40 p.m., making it extremely cold out. It would also mean that there would be no... Oh, I didn't even check the map. Anyways, side question. It would also mean that because it was snowing up until 9:40, there would be no additional footprints on site. All of the circus performers were gathered in the big top to practice their routines. The practice session broke up around 10 p.m. The murder itself took place in the plaza in front of the lodging house at 10:15 p.m. The victim was found bent over a wooden box, dead as a doornail. The cause of death was blunt force trauma that snapped a vertebrae in his neck. I see. He was beaten to death. Here's the autopsy report for the victim. The court accepts this into evidence. Autopsy report added to the court record. A blunt object. Very well. Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, so we don't have much evidence, so let's talk about it. Actually, real quick, I want to check the map. Okay. Okay, so the big top is the circle, and then everything branches off of the big top. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Let me ask you about the snow. It was nearly a blizzard up until the time of the crime. Did it pile up? It wasn't such a big deal. Maybe about 1.5 inches was on the ground. The snow froze in place and stayed on the ground until the next day. So the snow, let me see, there's gotta be more to this. Okay, so it sounds like I have to respond to that one. When you say all of the circus performers, who do you mean? Everyone but the dancers and staff were there. Regina the animal tamer, Mo the clown, Ben the ventriloquist, and of course the defendant, Maximillion Galactica, and his victim, the ringmaster. Oh, I almost forgot, Regent the tiger was there as well. Out of curiosity, what about the circus monkey? When I was investigating yesterday, he happened to snatch my wristwatch. Detective, you are welcome to file a police report after these proceedings. Around 10 p.m. After the practice was over, where did you head off to? Oh, where did they head off to? Regina was playing with Regent, while Mo went back to his room tired from work. Ben the ventriloquist went to the front gate, absorbed in his own world. The ringmaster and Max went off to the ringmaster's room to talk privately. Talk privately? Huh, that's awfully suspicious. You wouldn't happen to know what they were talking about, would you? It seems they were negotiating Max's salary. Actually, Max was asking for Regina's hand in marriage. The murder itself took place in the plaza in front of the lodging house at 10:15. I'd like you to be a bit more specific about the events at 10:15 p.m. Okay, not a problem, pal. We've got a witness that told us... Ow! This is totally meaningless. Time to move on. We'll just have to revisit that testimony later. Detective Gumshoe, would you mind telling us how the victim met his end? The victim was found bent over a wooden box, dead as a doornail. A wooden box. That's right. The victim must have been carrying the wooden box when he was killed. Carrying the box, huh? It was a rather strange wooden box, Your Honor. What do you mean? Well, it was much heavier than it looked, not to mention it was locked. Locked, you say? A 20-pound box. It boasts a small but strong lock. This may be the only chance. About the contents. Do you mind telling us what was inside the box? Well, when I found the box, it was locked tighter than Fort Knox. So we took it back to the station and cracked it open. All that was inside was this little bottle. A bottle? What is that, detective? Exactly what it looks like, Your Honor. It's a condiment bottle. What's inside the bottle? It's filled with pepper. Pepper? Why in the world was it locked in a big box? There's only one little bottle in that big box. I wonder if it has some sort of special meaning. Odd. The cause of death was blunt force trauma. It snapped the vertebrae on his neck. According to the autopsy report, the murder weapon was a blunt object, correct? You've done your homework, pal. And you haven't found this murder weapon, have you? The police are searching for it as we speak. My theory is that something the perpetrator ran off with. You would think so, especially since I didn't find it on the crime. You didn't find it on the crime scene. No. I bet he made it disappear with magic. I think we have a good feel for the details of the events now. You mean all we're gonna get out of him is that little bottle of pepper? Obviously, but due to you being slow and unable to take a hint, I don't know, but wrapped up has such a meaning to it. I'm a sensitive guy. Thank you very much, Detective Gumshoe. You may step down. Miss Von Karma, I didn't get to inquire about the snow. She must be talking about Ben the ventriloquist. I wonder if Trilo will show up on the stand as well. Please state your name and occupation for the record. My full name is ventriloquist. I am employed as an operatic tenor. Excuse me? The witness called to the stand was one Mr. Benjamin Woodman, ventriloquist. That robe must be cutting off your circulation. I said I was a singer. Maybe you don't believe me. Fine, I'll grace you with a song. Me. The world of the law, exciting and daring, guilt or innocence, decided by a judge dressed up like a woman. Well, what do you think? It had a good rhythm. It's just the lyrics. They leave something to be desired, so to speak. Trilo, you know better than to insult a judge. Shut up! Just look at your nose! You would think you'd have the sense to fix it. It's so ugly, I want to punch you in the face on the off chance swelling would help. You know that your nose is the reason you'll never be an A-list star? Celebrities must really enjoy saying everything that flashes into their minds. What's going on here? Order. I demand to know who the witness is. Don't worry about me, sir. I'll let Trilo handle this. I'm not worried about you one bit. I'm worried about getting the testimony. You won't get anywhere trying to figure out this witness. Now let's proceed. See, she has the headspace to be like, the ventriloquist dummy is the one who's going to do most of the talking, so you might as well just go with it. A puppet. Once practice was over, I left the tent with the clown. Once we got to the lodge house, I ditched him and went back to the plaza's entrance. That's when I saw Max heading towards the scene of the crime. He was the only one heading that way. How could that punk not be the killer? When the police showed up and took Magic Boy away, you saw Maximillion Galactica heading towards the scene. You're sure of that? Without a doubt. He had on his silk hat, cloak, and the dumb white roses on his chest. How can you mistake someone with that crazy getup and his nose stuck up so high? That's enough. I think we all get the picture. Just one thing. You said you ditched the clown? That's right, dress boy. Well, since you weren't with him, couldn't that mean the clown committed the crime? He's got a point. What a shame. It was a nice theory, but the clown can't be the culprit. Why is that? Here's absolute proof. A silk hat. This was found at the scene of the crime. It belongs to the defendant. Without question, he was wearing his signature hat during practice. If the clown was the murderer, there would be no reason for this hat to be at the scene. Well done, Miss Von Karma. Your prosecutorial skills are unrivaled. Well done. And thank you for stating the obvious. Mr. Phoenix Wright, what do you have to say? Okay, I guess she's the boss again today. What you witnessed. Okay, so let's operate with some details. The clown, you're talking about Mo. Of course I'm talking about that old fart. He's so pathetic, I can't stand him. Really? Nobody is going to think that this guy is not the killer. He could easily pose as Maximillion. It's clearly Trilo. Just one bit of exercise and his makeup is running all over the place. Once practice is over, he was 9/10 of the way to keeling over for good. Poor guy. We didn't have any choice, so Ben took him back to his room. When it comes to being the first place loser, that guy's ahead of the pack. Then what happened? Once we got to the lodging, I ditched him and went back to the plaza's entrance. Oh, no, I wanted to inquire. Oh, thank goodness I can scroll back and forth. Why the plaza entrance? To do something, of course. It was awfully cold out that night, especially with all the snow around. Wouldn't thinking in your nice warm lodge house have been a better idea? Mr. Phoenix Wright, I think you should leave the thinking to the witness. But I'm a good thunker. At least my teachers always said I was. That's when I saw Max heading towards the crime scene. Are you sure it was really Max Galactica? Of course I'm sure. How could you mistake someone wearing such a snobby three-piece getup? Snobby three-piece getup. Get the wax out of your ears. Lawyers nowadays. You'd like talking to a brick wall. Max's three-piece getup. Jeez. Could you be any more dense? All together now. Silk hat. Cloak. White roses. Thank you. Nick, I think you should put a little bit more effort in to preparing your questions. It was the only one heading that way. How could that punk not be the killer? You saw Max and only Max, right, Trilo? That's right, and that makes him the killer. There's only one person headed that way that night. That makes quite a bit of sense, and makes Max one suspicious character. There's more to this story than meets the eye. Is there something amiss in this? That's a bit strange, don't you think? What's strange? That you only saw Max. Doesn't it seem like you should have seen someone else as well? Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Who else do you suppose the witness could have seen? That's the victim. That's correct. If Trilo was at the entrance to the plaza, he should have seen the ringmaster as well. Obviously, the ringmaster arrived at the scene of the crime before the witness. Could have seen him, and before the witness could have seen him. Anyone with sense could have figured that one out. What are you talking about? The ringmaster and Max went together to the ringmaster's room. Is that according to the defendant? A likely story. If Maximillion Galactica was supposed to be in the ringmaster's room, why was he just, as the witness stated, at the scene of the crime? I see. It seems at this stage I have no reason to doubt this witness's testimony. And there are clearly no conclusive contradictions. He's right. A brilliant judgment, Your Honor. Now, let's move along with the testimony. Trilo wouldn't happen to have an ulterior motive for incriminating Max, would he? Max is part of a bitter love triangle with Regina, which is probably why Max conked him over the head. Nick, wasn't Ben the one who got knocked over the head? Yeah, I think so. I don't know anymore. Once practice was over. Okay. That's when I saw Max heading towards the scene of the crime. Then the police showed up and took Magic Boy away. Around what time did the police arrive at the scene? I suppose that would have been around... Hey, what time was it? I think it was around, I'd say a bit after 10:30, I think. Practice ended at 10, so you hung around the lodging house the entire time. I guess that sounds about right. Wasn't it awfully cold? I can't believe you'd just stand outside in that weather. Well, the truth is, will you shut your big nose, dope? Shut up, you big-nosed dope. Why are you telling him anything extra? Why can't you believe that we'd just stand outside in that weather? Well, maybe you were waiting for someone. What? Who said we were waiting for someone? Mr. Phoenix Wright, we can all do without your offhanded theories. But this witness, he's cracking under the pressure already. I'm on to something. Mr. Wright, who do you suppose was waiting for out in the cold? That would be Regina, probably. Well, if he was waiting outside in the cold, it was for one person. And one person only. He was waiting for the animal tamer, Regina. Oh my god, I blew up the doll! You were waiting outside for Regina to come back to the lodging house. Am I mistaken? Oh good, he put the pieces back together. Is this true? Well, you can't really ask me that question. Who cares who I was waiting for that night? What's important is what I saw, don't you forget it. Well, well, well. The puppet may be a bit stiff, but he is right. All right. There's obviously a reason why this witness was there that night. He spent all that time waiting for Regina to arrive. Moreover, even if someone else would have walked right in front of him, I doubt he would have paid them a second thought. Ah! That makes perfect sense. What did you just say? The witness saw the defendant at the scene of the crime. However, he did not see the victim on the way to his eventual demise. If you accept that, then you must accept that there's a high likelihood that he could have missed someone else other than Max. Ow! There is absolutely no proof that the witness was waiting for the animal tamer. I guess you got me. Alright, I'll spill the beans for real this time. It's true. I was waiting for Regina. Pain! Don't volunteer things. Mr. Quist, tell us the truth this time, and I mean the whole truth. Were you or were you not waiting for Regina at the entrance of the lodging house? I was. I was waiting to propose to her. You were, what? Waiting to propose? What's the matter? You think humans have a monopoly on marriage? The matter of puppet marriage is not under review in this case. You're the judge. I mean, look at your horrible outfit. More pain. Thanks to your bumbling, my perfect plan is not so perfect anymore. Now we have to waste getting to the bottom of some silly proposal by a puppet. Don't be so surprised that I was going to propose to Regina. I even had something to give her. I kept it in my pocket, waiting for the chance to propose and give it to her. Of course, I also had it in my pocket that night. It was a present for her. In the end, I wasn't able to give it to her, so I've still got it in my pocket. I'm going to present the ring. You're going to propose, you, a puppet. Don't be so obtuse. Just because I'm a puppet doesn't mean I can't love. I guess you're right. Just because I'm old doesn't mean I couldn't propose to her too. Exactly. His honor is looking a little less honorable right now. Okay, Mr. Wright, please continue with your cross-examination. What was with that sigh at the end? The courtroom is a circus, that's why. So I'm gonna jump right to it's still in my pocket. So let's present the ring. Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence. It does? I mean, technically that is the ring. So you are still thinking of trying to give it to Regina? Of course I am. I spent 3 months' salary on this thing. I'm not gonna give up that easily. I wonder how much he receives for appearing in the circus. Probably way more than he deserves. How about it, Nick? I think it's about time to unwrap this toy's testimony. Give him heck. Okay, never mind. I guess I have to figure out where to... By proposal, you mean proposing marriage, correct, to Regina? Of course that's what I meant. What kind of stupid question is that? I wasn't going to propose that we become some sort of outlaw biker gang together. Right, Ben? Yeah. Got it. That's the truth. I even had something to give her. What was it exactly that you planned on giving her? You know exactly what I was going to give her, numbskull. The only thing I could find that could match Regina's beauty. Answer the question. What was it? You're going to die when you hear this. It's an engagement ring. Engagement ring? Wow, those two nearly fell out of their chairs. Mr. Phoenix Wright's joke has gone too far. Time for this to end right here. Looks like it's about to lash out at almost anything. One hit from that thing will probably shut someone up for a long time. It may be something of a joke, but this is a historic moment. The first time that a puppet has ever... Ow. I advise you to cut this argument short. I'm going to have to agree with the defense here. Will the witness please revise their testimony, specifically about the engagement ring? You sure do enjoy sweating the details, especially for a man in a black bathrobe. Now this is where... Now let's present the ring. Seriously? Uh-huh. It's actually a diamond-shaped stone cut from glass. Even more brilliant than the real thing. I think Regina is going to love it. It's just a ring. What's the matter, Nick? Well, there's got to be something I can catch him on. I tried. So let's press this. Whose pocket was the ring in? Mine, of course. What a stupid question. You gotta be kidding me. You think Ben could pull that off? I'm sorry, really. You don't have to apologize for that. He's the one who should be apologizing. Really? Of course, I also added in... So you went to the lodging house to give it to her. That's right. I tried to give it to her during practice so many times, but I lost count. But the uppity snob kept getting in the way. Uppity snob? Uppity snob? He couldn't possibly be talking about me, Maximillion Galactica. When I get a hold of him, I'm gonna saw his wood block in half, and not with magic. Well, they always say that love creates rivalries. So what about this present? I've already presented it twice. What am I missing? I'm gonna try it one more time. Why did it work this time? Trilo, do you mind if I show you something? What is it? What is it? What are you talking about? Uh-oh. Looks like they're doing a double team. They're going to double team me now. Do you recognize this ring? Ah, that's mine! Give it back, thief! Thief! Didn't you just testify about this very object? I believe you said in the end I wasn't able to give it to her, so I still have it in my pocket. Why then do I have it right here? Arrgh! The exploding puppet is hilarious. What's going on here? That's... Ben, say something! Don't put me on the spot like that, Trilo. I found this in Money's room. Money's room? You mean a room they put money? Like a bank vault? That filthy monkey is gonna get what's coming to him. Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you avoided slandering innocent fiats in my courtroom. Well, Your Honor, Money really is a monkey, in every sense of the word. I see, well then. Money likes to go after the shiniest things that he can find and gather them up. Shiny things. Trilo, when was this ring stolen from you? Well, I suppose it was that time, you know, that night. The night of the crime. What did you just say? Details. I need more details. Well, it was stolen right after Max showed up at the plaza. Right about when you saw the defendant walk past, correct? Well, I guess you might be able to say that. The ring might have, well, it could have been taken around that time. Ah! Yow! Ooh! Ben, what's with you? Oh, whatever. It has nothing to do with anything, especially not who committed the murder. It's not for you to decide what has to do with what. Now, Trilo, back to the topic at hand. I haven't admitted a thing. Not I, Mr. Ventriloquist. What did you do when the ring was taken, Trilo? You know exactly what I did. I chased after the monkeys, after the ring-snatching monkey money. But you weren't able to catch up with him, were you? It's all this slow, loafy fool called Ben's fault. While he was fumbling his way through the snow, that dumb monkey was able to get away. That is indeed an incredible shame. Well, this does indeed prove one very important point. Prove an important point? What point could that possibly be? Ben's testimony has a flaw. The witness just testified to the following effect. Up until the police arrived, he didn't move from the entrance to the plaza. However, the witness just stated that he chased after Money the monkey. When the witness was off chasing Money, there was no one watching the plaza. What is the meaning of all this, Phoenix Wright? Where are you going with this little theory of yours? I'm saying that there's no possible way that this witness saw the plaza the entire time. That's where I'm going with this little theory, which leads me to my next point. Is it entirely possible that someone other than the defendant was at the scene? Interesting, Mr. Wright. Well then, tell me this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Do you have any proof that something slipped past this ventriloquist? Well, he obviously didn't see the victim, the ringmaster, arrive at the scene. However, that doesn't change the fact that he saw the defendant arrive. The witness is lying. He is blinded by his rivalry with Max. Well, the defense's argument does hold water. This witness does have a history of animosity towards the defendant. What? How dare you? I wouldn't lie just to get that dork face in trouble. He's not even worth it. I saw him, no doubt about it. I saw that worthless liar. Well, just for clarity's sake, let's flesh out exactly who you saw that night. I told you so many times, you'd think you'd know my story's not changing. You've already changed your story, stick boy. And I'm sure it will change some more. Where there's one lie, there are usually many more behind it. Exactly, Maya. That's why we have to keep after him. Witnessing Max. I'll give you that I was waiting that night for Regina. But that doesn't change the fact that I saw Max in the plaza that night. He showed up after I've been waiting there for about 5 minutes. I said good evening to him, but he didn't even acknowledge my presence. I'm absolutely sure it was him. I saw Maximillion Galactica at the scene. There's no way I could mistake someone wearing those 3 ridiculous symbols. So that means that Money didn't show up until after you saw Max. That's right. Money ran up less than a minute after I saw Max. Then Money snatched the ring and you went chasing after him. How long was it until you came back to where you were waiting? Well, let's see. I'd say about, suppose 5 minutes, I think. So the victim could have arrived at the scene in that 5-minute stretch. Mr. Wright, please proceed with your cross-examination. Witnessing Max. So you were only concerned with waiting for Regina that night. That means you probably wouldn't have noticed if someone else showed up. You should think about how many eyes I actually have. I've got 4, you know. 4. F-O-U-R. Counting Ben, of course. With that many eyes, do you really think something would have slipped by me? 4 eyes is an awful lot of attention directed at one area, I suppose. The judge is even more dangerous to our case than Trilo. But that doesn't change the fact that I saw Max in the plaza that night. So you saw Max coming out of the big top that night. Of course, that's where I saw him coming from. I was staring at the entrance to the tent the entire time. I guess that makes sense, especially since he was waiting for Regina. He showed up after I've been waiting there for about 5 minutes. About what time would you say these events took place? You're one of the dumbest people on the planet if you can't figure it out yourself. You already know that practice finished promptly at 10 p.m. And you already know that I went to the lodging house right after practice. You don't need to be a brain surgeon to know around what time it was when I saw him. Just add 10 more minutes. I'm sure you can do that. Now, what time was it? Indeed, what time was it? What time was it? Let me think for a second. Yow! It was 10:10 p.m. That sounds about right. It sounds about right because that's the time I saw Max on the scene. When did the defendant die? 10:15, so 5 minutes after that. Not looking good. I said good evening to him, but he didn't even acknowledge my presence. So you testified that you said good evening to Max that night. You must enjoy asking incredibly obvious questions. You say good morning in the morning, good afternoon during the day, right? And it's obviously that I'd say good night to someone at night. What, Ben? You've got something to add? Let me guess. That's not it, Trilo. You say good evening at night. I'm sorry, Trilo. Mr. Quist, I would prefer if you kept your ventriloquist's act outside of the courtroom. Impossible. A performer lives and breathes his performances. You should know better. There's got to be something wrong with this bit of testimony. Isn't it a bit strange to you? What do you mean? Well, if you hate Max so much, why would you bother being nice to him? It strikes me as somewhat strange. Why would it strike you as strange? Exactly. How is it strange to be cordial to one of your coworkers? Well, if it was simply just being cordial to a coworker, I would understand. Ow, that hurt! Maybe you should think of having some proof before your lips start flapping next time. Proof is everything in this world. You should have learned that in grade school. There's no reason that... The cracked bottle. You are 100% absolutely sure you saw what you saw. I already told you, geez, I am 100% absolutely sure. There's no way he could be any more confident than that, right? Those three ridiculous symbols, huh? Out of curiosity, exactly how many times have you asked that question by now? If you're gonna ask, I'll answer with a chorus. Everyone together now. Silk hat, cloak, white roses. Thank you very much. Maya, you didn't have to join in, did you? But it's fun shouting with everyone else. There has to be a hole in his testimony somewhere. Okay. I hate to say it, but Ben's part of your little act is coming off a bit stale. I'm sure that if a... Oh, no. Don't get so wrapped up in yourself, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You should know better. Ow, 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 that hurts. That should have set him straight. You may proceed. Okay, so there's no pressing for more details, so I have to have evidence. What if I present the bottle here? Okay. Trilo, is it not true that you had a fight with Max on the day of the murder? A fight? A fight over Regina, to be exact. It wasn't that big of a deal. It was just an argument, a disagreement at most. A disagreement usually doesn't end with someone getting conked on the head. Ah! That morning, Ben got clobbered over the head by Max, didn't he? What? Is that an admission of assault and battery? Ouch! Before we handle that, we should wrap up the defendant's murder charge first. The truth is that on the day of the crime, the defendant and witness had a huge fight. There's absolutely no way they would have suddenly become cordial that evening. Moreover, just consider the personality of the witness on the stand. There's no way a puppet this lewd would just up and say, "Good evening," to his rival. Wah! Are you saying this witness is lying? That he is trying to frame the defendant by claiming to have seen him at the scene of the crime? I didn't tell a single lie. Honest, I just... That is enough from you, Mr. Quist. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Let's clarify this testimony for the court. Could you explain your theory about who the witness actually saw that night? He saw a different person. It's my belief that the witness did indeed see someone that night. It was just someone else. That's who he said good evening to. What kind of theory is that? The correct one. Furthermore, I don't believe the person the witness saw was Max at all. What? If he had truly met Max that night, there would have been no greeting at all, which means there is only one proper answer. The person the witness saw that night was not Maximillion Galactica. That is why Trilo made the effort to greet whoever it was that he saw that evening, or good evening, as he put it. What in the world? Would the defense kindly explain who it was Trilo saw that evening then? He's already inside. They didn't see her. So it would have to be him. Considering the ill temper of this witness, there's only one person he would greet. It must be Regina. It's Regina, right? She's so cute. No, Your Honor, it is not Regina. If it was Regina, Trilo would have given her the engagement ring as a present. Oh, yeah, I suppose you've got a point there. It was Russell Berry, the victim himself, was it not? You are correct. It was indeed Russell Berry. The person you saw that evening was the victim, the ringmaster, Russell Berry. That's why you greeted him, Trilo. Isn't that correct? Go. Answer the question, Mr. Quist. Wah! Order, order. How do you respond to this? Well, wait a second. Well, at first I thought it was the old man. But once I got a better look at him, it was obviously Maximillion Galactica. I think it's high time that we clear the air about this question. Mr. Quist obviously witnessed a single person in the area of the plaza that evening. The problem is identifying exactly who that person was. Was it Maximillion Galactica, or was it the ringmaster, one of Mr. The prosecution argues that it was the defendant that the witness saw that night. The witness has clearly stated that he saw the defendant's three symbols. Alright, this is getting old. Come on, man, you gotta remember them by now. Here we go again. Everyone, all together now. Ow! Yes, we know. The silk hat, cloak, and white rose. A silk hat and cloak. Anyone could wear them. They even got one. They'd even look good on me. What was that? Well, the witness has endlessly repeated that he saw Max's three symbols. However, how do we really know it was Maximillion Galactica? It could have been someone else dressed up as him. Possibly even Russell Berry. What? Mr. Von Karma, or Miss Von Karma, do you have clear evidence that this person the witness saw was the defendant? Well, If that's the case, then it is impossible for me to make a judgment at this point. Yes, I think we finally won a point on this one. That is very unfortunate. Huh? You're just a little too excited for your own good, Mr. Phoenix, right? Right, the second witness. What do you mean by that? You merely established one thing from this witness. You established that this witness saw one person at the plaza that night. I applaud you on your effort, but who that person was can only be answered by the next witness. Your Honor, the prosecution will provide, beyond a shadow of a doubt, an answer to that question. The evidence that clearly establishes one thing, that there is no one other than Maximillion Galactica responsible for this crime. Very well. The court will take a 10-minute recess. During that time, I request the prosecution prepare their next witness. Court is now in recess. Whew. My goodness. This is tough. And at least we made it to the next part. It was literally like talking to a wooden dummy. That last case. With that, guys, we are going to call it an episode. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this episode, you can always leave a comment in the comment section below. Mash that like button and subscribe if you have not for more Phoenix Wright content. Ugh. In the next episode, we're dealing with the next witness, which, based on the information we had, is going to be Mo the Clown. They're really sending in the clowns on this one, aren't they? If you guys enjoyed this, then let's see what someone with a real funny bone has to say about Maximillion Galactica. I'll see you guys next time. Later!